Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, the sell side has been active near yesterday's high for a push down towards 24.45, but yesterday's breakout can remain intact as long as the buyers hold ES above the 42 to 45 initial support zone. So that marks the balanced breakout area, and as long as the buyers are holding ES above 42 to 45, technically the breakout is still intact, and that means that as long as ES is holding above 42 to 45, we still technically have bullish time frame alignment. On the upside, we have resistance at 49.5 to 51.5, and if yesterday's breakout remains intact, then we could get follow through and the market could print yet another all-time high today. And beyond 51.5, there is no hard resistance. Now, if we hold initial support and start breaking out again to the upside, then given the current volatility and range expectation, the market could reach 59 to 61, and the reward potential beyond 59 to 61 is questionable, and then 70 to 72 marks a range extreme. But if we're running on lighter volume, then it's possible that the market may not even reach 59 to 61. So that assumes that the market is running on close to average volume. But if we're running on very light volume, then we could just consolidate and chop within a range, or maybe make a marginal high beyond 51.5. That is something that we'll have to assess in real time. On the downside, failure to hold 42 to 45 would open the door for a failed breakout scenario, and that would bring yesterday's low of 38.5 into play. The 34.75 to 36.75 support would then come into play. That's still an area where responsive buyers can be active, but it's something that we will have to assess in real time. So if we are heading down into that zone on a lot of downside momentum and we're seeing a lot of selling coming into the NASDAQ and the Russell, then we might only get a reaction at 34.75 to 36.75, and from there we could head down into the open gap at 31 and potentially the 25 to 27.5 support zone where responsive buyers can still be active. So heading into today, how the market responds to the 42 to 45 zone is really going to set the tone and bias on the day time frame. If we hold 42 to 45 and we start to see buying come into the NASDAQ and Russell as well, and from there we start to see some upside momentum come back into the market, then we could quite easily go right back into 49.5 to 51.5 and possibly even a new all-time high. But if we fail to hold 42 to 45, then that could open the door to the failed breakout scenario, and that would bring the 38.50 and 34.75 to 36.75 zone into play, and potentially even lower, but that's something that we will have to assess in real time. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see if the buy side can hold ES above 42 to 45. That'll help us establish our real-time intraday bias, and we'll take it from there.